Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me. What a fight back from the Windies. It's impressive fight back, I would say, when you think about the likes of Joshua De Silva and Hodge. But we'll get into it, and it's interesting because it's a late night test match if you're on this side of the hemisphere, and I left thinking yesterday when I was on the live that the West Indies probably would have been scuttled out for less than 100 or somewhere around there. Impressive bowling by Mitchell Stark, ripping through the top order batsmen. And yeah, that is a challenge for the West Indies. And we'll break it down. I mean, in a moment, in less than half an hour, the second day should start of this day and night test match in Brisbane at the Gabba. Seems as if you apply yourself at some point, then you will get some runs, and it's interesting. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Before breakdown, the big highlight obviously is the fact that West Indies managed to reach 266 for 8 at the close. Unfortunately, Alzarez Joseph, who had a really good cameo, got out in what would be the last over of the day. Very much unfortunate, but yeah, I don't mind him going for the runs there. But to close on 266 when you are 64 for 5, especially starting the test match with the captain Craig Brathwaite and Shan Paul somewhat slow, to get to that point is impressive. Kudos to Michelle Stark. 350 test wickets for him. He's been such a tremendous bowler that moves him up much closer, I believe, to some of the all-time greats there from Australian cricket, Cricket Australia, and good company. I think Dennis Lilly is around him right now, and that's a truly, truly great bowler. And so to get there is important. It's a superb partnership from Joshua De Silva and Hodge, facing what 311 balls before the Aussies could have taken them out, and so made a breakthrough. So it's important to at least recognize that there was some fight there, and yeah, we'll unpack some of this as the match is about us. The morning sessions who starts. Yeah, good evening, Imran. I want to say when I saw that the reason why you wanted Joshua to open, okay, he was impressive last night. I still don't know if he's open bowler, open if he's the one you want to open the batting, but impressive performance, and without him, and he needed a knock. He definitely needed that, and really great contribution to the West Indies cause. Let's hope that they can push this across 300. I remember you saying last night that one of your markers of success would be for West Indies to make 300 runs. It's possible. It's also possible that they don't make much more. But getting over 300 runs would definitely put things into uh, make things look good, right? A reasonable kind of a landmark there. I suspect it should happen. There's warming up going on right now. As I see, my feed just came in there, but some interesting kind of a batting yesterday. I mean, I was certainly not expecting West Indies to make this. I'm going to unpack some of that in a second. Let me get some more comments. Yeah, Dean the Dream is agreeing with you. Is correct about Joshua. I don't know if he's good for opening, but he's showing some kind of a maturity there that we needed. Especially for what happened in the first Test match where I thought he gave away his wicket quite easily, and he had to hold his hand up, and so it did. So Mid Stark is really a fantastic bowler there. 352, just what, three short from the great Dennis Lilly, and obviously Nathan Lyon is in front. Glenn McGrath and the late great Shane Warne. None of who he can catch, I don't think. I'm not quite sure how much longer Mid Stark will stay. 87 test match for him there. So I mean, he's a fantastic bowler, fantastic servant for Australian cricket. But yeah, interesting. I want to go through what, obviously, for me, if you're a West Indies fan, is a recovery from the West Indies, significant partnership, 149 runs, uh, probably the highest I think in from what I recall in a day and night test match, probably the longest the Australians had to suffer this summer without taking a wicket. So that's good. Uh, the early struggles again, we have to put into question. Yes, you're facing the likes of a Hazelwood, Stark, Pat Cummins, but the top order needs some work. And we were watching last night and we said to ourselves, it's almost like what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and what, 9 runs on the, and eventually you're out as the captain. And so there's not really any forward movement there that you want to see. And I'm very disappointed. I think Craig Brathwaite is out of form. He didn't look particularly good yesterday. Looked sixes and sevens, if you want to think about it that way. And he has to hold his hand up. I mean, there's a lot of questions to answer there, in the sense that why is he pushing at that ball? It's just, I don't understand it, right? So there's some interesting things there. Shanda Paul needed a bigger knock. I thought that after the captain was out, he tried to do something meaningful with Mackenzie, who I think really needs a talking to, because while we like aggression, I think aggression needs to be controlled. And you don't want to draw yourself into loose shots. And I thought that Kurt Mackenzie yesterday, like similarly to the first test match, is once he gets on top of the bats of the bowlers, hits a couple boundaries here, feels comfortable. I think there's a concentration there. I think it's all mental, because you saw it yesterday. Pat Cummins with the extra bounce. He slashes at 2 balls. The next thing you know, he's edging it and he's out. And that is a problem. I think he's a fantastic talent. I like his aggression. He's not going to stick around in terms of, you can't dominate him too long as a bowler. At least he tries not for that to happen. But you really need to be circumspect, think about what you're doing. And yet again, I think he gave away his wicket, and I suspect that he would say that, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there, Imran. I think Joseph did fairly well yesterday. He was taking on the bowling somewhat. Maybe the writing is on the wall, and he's like, look, I can't. The game that he has to play is one where he's also aggressive. So it would have been good for him to be walking out back to the crease this morning with Kevin Sinclair, who is on debut, who's also played a reasonable uh, partnership there with. But good runs from Hodge 71, the Silva 79, that LBW from Lyon was clearly out. He reviewed it. But the top order needs some work. I think Mackenzie, the ability is there. I also think the ability is there for Athanase. I think he needs to start think through international cricket much quicker, make better decisions. But then again, when we say some of these things, we also have to reflect on the idea that the first class cricket maybe is not enough before you get into this level, especially facing a team like Australia, who's best in the world. And maybe more time for sure. Graves again, not quite sure what to make of that. Shanda Paul is also a concern for me in terms of the way in which he got out. So there's a few things there that really make me think that we saw good bowling, obviously, from Mitch Stark. But Athanase, Shanda Paul, I think you have to think through your cricket much more. What Stark is doing out there, which any great fast bowler is doing, and I guess it's the classic mantra, is to force players to drive. And boy, do West Indies cricketers like to drive. And so if you start to do that, then you're in business. At some point, the edge will present itself. So it's about adaptation for the likes of Athenaeus, Graves just coming in as well. I think the ball from Stark was really lovely to get him out. So I'm not fully sure how to think about his dismissal, because I think that was good. The dismissal for Shanna Paul, questionable on his path. Uh, the same for the captain, in many ways, gave away his wicket. So West Indies at some point in a crisis, and it was really good to see some of the shots from Hodge and De Silva. I really hoped that they could have taken that past a 200-run partnership, but Lyon got the breakthrough in good time. And the West Indies, when you compare where they were and where they finished the end of the day, you have to say it was a good, resilient cricket on display, good fight back, and overall an interesting test match, good, entertaining cricket, bat and ball featuring good competition. And that's where we are. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate you on the live. Let me make sure you uh, let me know your thoughts. Smash that like button. The best way to support this channel is also to subscribe. Maybe tell somebody, but definitely subscribe. That's really important. When we come live. Lots of stuff. I'll try to be live again tomorrow and into the weekend with other sports as well. As you know, sometimes you might come on this channel and you may not be getting the sport that you want, but we cover a variety of things. And if you feel like you're itching to say something about something else, you can also pop it in. I'm sure the cricket loving fans wouldn't necessarily be against it, but I'm very intrigued to see if the West Indies can come out and make another, I would say, can we get another 40 runs? Another 40 runs would be reasonable. Even more would be even better. But it's good to see that there's some resilient cricket on display. West Indies giving a fight, and that's all you want to ask for, right? Obviously, you want to ask for better technical. You want better technique on display. Let me put it that way. But you want more concentration. But then you have to also think about the class bowling, and there's some structural impediments. I mean, the golfing class between the two teams is fairly wide. But you hope that the cricketers learn fast, and they have to learn really fast. It's a challenge for a country like the West Indies, or a nation state like the West Indies, that don't play a lot of Test cricket in the ways that you want them to play. And definitely, I think you really want to get them in learning quickly. It's unfortunate that many of them have to be learning on the job. To be honest with you, you look at the likes of Shad Paul, or maybe Mackenzie or Athenaeus, all these guys, those guys in particular, I would really want them to play like county cricket. You want them to play, get some more experience before they actually venture their way back in to the Test team. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But also, you got to take your chances when you get it. And I really think, like, I want to see what happens eventually when West Indies bowl. Will we get something special again from Shamar Joseph? Because the important thing is that you got to take your chances. Some of these guys would not have gotten chances here if the likes of Jason Hola was available, decided not to come. So you have to take your chances, and it's good. It's a young team in part, very inexperienced ages. Some of these guys are much older too, making debuts, but it's a very inexperienced team. 7 guys on debut in the squad in terms of never traveled before or never played Test cricket, and that's something that is problematic when you come to the likes of an Australia. You don't really think about that's the first tour you want to get certain players playing, or if it's your second tour. But sometimes you got to go in there. There's fire, and you have to be ready to take it on, and it's good to see that. So that some of them are actually responding to this. I'm just looking across and I see the great Brian Lara. Not quite sure what they're saying because I can't really see, but I suppose he's doing some pitch analysis or so on. But yeah, but if we can get another 40 runs, I think West Indies should be okay with that. That gives the bowlers something. Yeah, I suspect that if you are able to see off the new ball when the Aussies bat, then what will happen is, they'll make runs. So you have to be very good, and I hope that all the batters are in ready and capable. The bowlers rather are ready and capable. I want to back up Joseph. Alzari needs to take some wickets. I want to see Kumar Roach hurting people, and I'm very excited to see what Kevin Sinclair can do. Obviously, comes into his first Test match. He got his cap from the great Carl Hooper. Must be special for him as well. One Guyanese to the next, and you really want him to. I think I like him. If you've watched him in first class cricket, if you've seen him in Caribbean T20s and all that stuff, he's exciting. I think mentally, I think he's ready because I think the kid is fearless. But we have to see what can happen here. I mean, unfortunate for Gudakesh Moti because I've been saying, and I think Moti is an interesting cricketer. And if you really want to think long term, especially with spin, you have to give them a lot of time to make it, right? You just don't come on and break on the scene unless you're a once in a generation type of a bowler. And even the greats needed time to adapt to that level. So I but Moti will also have a lot of duties to come. He's featuring in the shorter version of the game. He'll most likely make it to the World Cup for T20. And then obviously after the test match here is concluded, there is some limited overs cricket to be had. So yeah, I'm very very much excited. Maybe in another 9 minutes or so, they will come out. I think they're doing some last minute preparation here on the pitch, a little drying up on the outer surface, it seems like, or I suspect it's drying up. I'm not quite sure what this big rope is doing. Initially, there were some concerns about weather in Brisbane, but it does. I don't know if it happened. I think forecast improved somewhat. Yeah. But thanks everybody for joining me. Let me know you're joining from your thoughts on the cricket match so far. Were you surprised that West Indies recovered from what could have been a nightmare score? And how much more do you want to see? I mean, obviously, I'd love to see another 100 runs. I'm not. I'm sure that's more like pie in the sky, but I'm not optimistic that can happen. But what I'm happy what I would be happy with rather is 40 runs. I would take 40 runs, get it over 200. That 300 mark is always an interesting mark, psychologically. And, you come out and see what you can do, right? Australia is opening with the great Steve Smith as David Warner retired. I mean, he's one of the all-time great batsmen. Or certainly a great batsman for this era, man for this era. So, but I don't know how much longer Steve Smith wants to open for Australia, right? I feel like they're playing around with a few things. So let's see what you can do. Usman Khawaja, Joseph in the last match, when they were chasing only 25 runs or so, knocked him over a little bit. Unfortunate for Khawaja. Seems as if he didn't suffer any concussion, so that's good. But the thing about Shamar Joseph the last time was this idea of like the kid was fearless, and he had a couple nice bounces that were like slipping up onto the batsman, almost reminiscent of the great Malcolm Marshall, right? I'm not saying I want to make this clear again. I'm not putting him in the same category. No one can be, uh, and certainly not now. But a couple bounces were skidding off, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks good, right?" So we are in for a treat if that kid can, go from strength to strength for lack of a better term, and learn his cricket, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, once again, I could run through the scorecard really quickly if you want, but we'll see what happens there. As usual, Weston is open with Tanger and Chandapal and Captain Craig Brathwaite. Extremely slow run rate. I think at one point they were going about just over 1 and over, and Brathwaite gets out to almost a nothing shot from Hazelwood. It wasn't one of Hazelwood's great balls, but I think he was also setting him up. Chandapal then started to up the ante a little bit with Kurt McKenzie. And yeah, but you want more. I was hoping that Chandapal could have at least gotten maybe 40 runs, 50 runs there. That would put him in good stead. So when I look at the scorecard right now, and I said to myself, McKenzie started very well, and he definitely gave away his wicket. I mean, more concentration, and he could have gotten to a half century or better. That puts Weston is in a better place. Alec Athanasis too. You expect him to give some more runs. I mean, he's a talented batsman. So we're leaving runs on the table, and thanks to Hodge, obviously, and the Silva, who wonderful partnership. Put Weston is back in a position where it doesn't look embarrassing. And they themselves, unfortunately, to be out in relatively quick succession as well. Maybe just on how they batted, I would say, yesterday to help Weston's recover. Probably both deserve a century, but nobody deserves anything in cricket. You have to earn it. And, Alzarri Joseph with a good knock, right? And so when you look at the top order, you're thinking about 4, 21, 21, 8. It's not good. It's certainly not good. And obviously, you get a 71 and a 79. And the next highest after that is Alzarri Joseph, 32. So there's a lot of things that they have to really think through here. But it's 266 for 8. They're coming out soon, and we'll see what happens. Let's see what Imran say. Look, after this test series, Alzarri Joseph will have to transform into a white ball mode. Yeah, he has, but I don't think he physically. I think he's in good shape. Obviously, missed the last 2 matches in the Caribbean in Trinidad. I was coming to see him there when I traveled. Didn't get to see him. Fortunately, West Indies won the series, but they were thinking towards the Australia tour. A lot of bowling for Alzarri this year, but he's now 27 years of age. I think he should be really the leader of the attack. Last few years, he's clearly been the best bowler for West Indies. We need him to bring it some more. But I like him. I think he's good. Clearly, at one point, he had suffered an injury. Came when he burst onto the scene. I think it was in the IPL. Was it in the IPL when he had that shoulder problem? But he's back from that. Sometimes you watch Alzarri and you recognize he's a thinking bowler. So I want Alzarri to be an all-time great for West Indies. So he has a lot of work to do, and he should really be looking to his own countrymen, some of the great batsmen of some of the great bowlers that we've ever seen. When you think about the likes of an Andy Roberts, probably one of the greatest bowlers ever. And obviously, one of my favorites, obviously, Curtly Ambrose, struck fear in everybody else as well. So yeah, a good test match also going on over in Hyderabad, England versus India. I mean, interesting stuff. All this talk of baseball or whatever they want to call it from the British, and it's India who, with Jaiswal, was really knocking balls left, right, and center after they scuttled England out. So that's also a really interesting test match going on over there. Obviously, it's happening simultaneously, so not being able to watch both. I probably could, but that's hard to be watching both. But I try to catch the highlights on that. Other cricket is going on, obviously. World Under 19 World Cup, West Indies played, what was it, yesterday they played? Yeah. And so, yeah, players are about to come out right now. I'm very much intrigued to see what can happen. Uh, Travis Head walking up, Marnus Lava Chain, and here comes the West Indies batsman. If you're Australia, you're anticipating picking these off really early, and but if you're the likes of a Kemar, Roach, and a Kevin Sinclair, yeah, you want to make some runs. I mean, Roach can bat, you know. So let's see what can happen here. Yeah. There's a little bit of rain here. You could see some rain drops on the camera. So I'm not quite sure. I didn't check the forecast. I could probably ask my producer. I don't know if there's any kind of uh, rain in the forecast for today. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I saw that. I can't promise. I think I'll try to catch some of that in the morning, to be honest with you, when I get up. If I get up early, Imran. I did catch some of yesterday's cricket. But yeah. So I think they're gonna start. Who's this? Hazelwood. It seems like is doing a little bit of running. Oh yeah, I guess you got to complete that over, right? Is it? Does it? Yeah. Yeah, he has to complete that over from last night. So yeah. Looks like some good crowd coming into the Gabba. Always a fantastic place to play cricket. I also think if you are playing at the Gabba, if you judge the ball correctly historically, you can make some runs. You don't want to. You got to be careful, but you can. It's a good ball there from Hazelwood. Doesn't do much there. Comes back in a little bit, but way outside, so easy for Kemar Roach to just leave. Yeah, yeah. We'll see. I don't know. With the rain coming in, what will that do for the conditions in terms of movement of the ball? Not quite sure. Thanks everybody for joining. We're doing a watch along as usual, talking about cricket and cricket, lovely cricket. So if you are happy about what happened yesterday, you should let me know. Yeah, that's the over completed, and yeah, quick change around. I suspect they may be giving mid start the ball right away. Yeah. Let's just gonna look football right now. Palestine in history at the age of. Actually, I've not been following any of that, to be honest with you. Not been following any of that. I saw a little bit of the African Cup of Nations too. Haven't really watched much of that too. Uh, this week busy trying to catch up on track and field, trying to catch up on football in England and in Germany and other parts of the world. And then obviously I've been trying to go to a couple of games as well. Yeah. Yeah. There might be rain in the forecast for sure there in Brisbane. So that could be, hopefully it doesn't start, but there is an anticipation that there may be some rain. So that would not be good, but it's the thing about cricket. Sometimes you have to live with the elements. Yeah. Definitely have to do that, right? Yeah. It was raining a bit earlier too, so let's see what happens. It doesn't. It's clearly not as sunny as it was yesterday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Stark is coming into bowl to Kevin Sinclair. It's not a bad ball, but nothing much for the lad to do. He somewhat like plays that somewhat defensively. Yeah. How about Mitchell Stark? What a fantastic bowler he has been. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know you were watching all of that too, Imran. I have. To be honest, I watched none of that stuff. I've seen some results, but I haven't watched any of that. Yeah, yeah. I had some interesting conversations today. I was speaking to the CEO today of a USL team, but I'll talk about that on a different occasion. But I was uh, seeing some new things for upcoming development of some interesting stadia and other kind of stuff, which really, when you think about the money of sports in the United States, it's just unparalleled in terms of infrastructure development and entertainment. But anyway, let's see what Kevin Sinclair can do. I like the lad. I hope if he takes a wicket in Test cricket, he doesn't do any somersaults. He's good for that. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. I know people come in and out, and some of you are intrigued to hear what we have to say, but I want to hear from you too. Don't forget to put your comments in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on it. Best way to support the channel is to subscribe. Also like the video if you don't mind. And yeah, I don't know, some people might be coming in thinking that I'm streaming the game. I'm certainly not streaming the game because that's copyright violation, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. But let me know your thoughts on the game so far. Yeah. It's a good. Well, yeah, nothing there for Sinclair. He's patient there, doesn't even play. It's a little bit too out. The thing about Mitchell Stark is that he will get the ball to move away somewhat, then he'll try to get it back into you. So he'll set you up. He'll bowl a few wide, maybe variation a bit on the length, of course, but then he tries to get it back to you. He also tries to make you drive sometimes, which is really good. Maybe not as much as Hazelwood, but yeah, good bowler. Well, great bowler. Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's finding the. I don't think he's finding the right line there. But you don't put it. I wouldn't put it past Miss Stark to figure it out easily. Yeah, yeah. Probably a couple looseners. Start the morning less than accurate. I'm intrigued to see what was the overnight team talk. Yeah, it was first run in the morning there for Sinclair. Yeah. So yeah, who? Uh, yeah. Hopefully Roach can contribute with some runs here. Yeah, it's not a bad, playing down the side there for Sinclair. Also, if you're a big tennis fan as well, the semifinals of the men's Australian Open is going on. Currently, I think Djokovic, world number one, is playing Sinner, who is up 3 games to none in the first set. Clearly, I can't be watching the tennis as well, but I'll try to catch some of that tomorrow. Some interesting tennis is being played over there in Australia. Yeah, I don't know if you're a tennis fan, but it's fantastic too. Yeah, fantastic. There's not much yet in the cricket. Not much yet, but we'll see. Yeah, not much. I mean, I expect. Okay, I see what you're saying here, Imran. You want me to talk a little bit about? I don't know. It's a good question. It's FA Cup, so anything can happen. Chelsea. Well, didn't Chelsea play a cup earlier this week in the Carabao Cup? I mean, I don't know what to expect from Chelsea. Chelsea is it's hard to know. I mean, Villa has been a team of the season in a sense in terms of how they've turned it around, playing some good quality football from time to time. They're very hard to beat. I don't expect. I don't think they can make the top four in the Premier League. I know you're not asking about Premier League for tomorrow, but yeah, it's anybody's guess for me. Anybody's guess. I think Chelsea's hot and cold. The match is at Stamford Bridge, so they're at home. They should start favorite. They have nothing in terms of it's very unlikely they can get into the top four, get a Champions League spot. Clearly can't win the league or anything of the sort. So they're probably reliant heavily on the cup, and so I think they would take it seriously. I think Pochettino, to save his job in a sense, would probably need to do well. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. It should be an interesting game. I mean, there's also, I think the City game should be interesting as well, right? Yeah. City Tottenham should be very, very, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I should have gotten tickets for the All Star game. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, it's not too far. Okay. That's that's a good 4 runs there for Kimar Roach. Yeah. Not bad. I want to see it again. I was looking at the camera and not fully looking at the TV. Let's see. It's an edge, of course, but it's was nobody's on the leg side for sure. So I think he meant it. Yeah, yeah, kind of go. Well, it looks inside edges, but 4 runs is 4 runs, and that puts the West Indies a bit closer to the 300 mark. So they'll take everything. And Kemar can bat if he puts his head to it. He applies himself. Sinclair looks handy with the bat as well. So no reason why these two can't do a reasonable partnership. You know, how about a 30-run partnership would be great. 40-run partnership would be even better. 50 would be amazing. But yeah, getting to 300 will be interesting. I think that would be the first step in my books if you are the West Indies. A little bit of a bouncer there, evasive ducking from Kemar Roach ends the over for Mitchell Stark. And the West Indies are 272 for 8, 92 over. Overs completed. So good game of cricket. Good game of cricket. I also want to see what's happening over there in Hyderabad. So England versus India, and let's see what's happening there. Let me check the results on those. I don't know why for some reason I wasn't moving. Yeah. So seems like Jaiswal is gone. So India lost a wicket. So it's Shubman Gill and K Rahul. So I wonder how much more did they put on. It's a nice single there for the West Indies. Yeah, Jaiswal made 80 runs. He was batting like he was playing one-day cricket yesterday. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Ben Stokes yesterday looked good. How about Ben Stokes coming back from surgery and so on? Interesting game of cricket over there. Yeah. What Imran is saying, for those who said West Indies shall not be playing Test cricket, sucks for yeah, yeah. I guess there's. I always think the people who are saying ill will towards the West Indies cricket and all of these other people. Ooh, that's a lovely, lovely ball there from Mitchell Stark. forcing the batsman to drive, or at least play rather. Yeah, I think cricketers and administrators and other people around the world, they have really short memories. They often, and they sometimes always think that their position of at top of the game or close to the top of the game means that they can say any and anything, and they often forget about how this great Caribbean nation, how many people around the world connected to that. You know, obviously they're a struggle in terms of they fought for things as well, and there was a symbol for a lot of people in England, in the diaspora, obviously, and other places. So West Indies cricket is beyond just a sporting thing; it's an institution. So I I take a lot of I don't have time for people who have bad things to say about whether or not West Indies should stop playing cricket or not. I think where I think we need to do is obviously people who are fans of the cricket, whether you live in the Caribbean or away from the Caribbean like I do and others, that you keep a vested interest in it, and you have to put pressure on on them to do better, on them to recognize their legacy, and at the same time, hopefully, there's better governance. But there's a lot of things in cricket right now that is hard for smaller countries to really do anything, right? We keep saying, I say it on this channel, if you follow the sport, the dominance of the big three: England, Australia, and India. They dominate. They make decisions, and the way in which right now, I urge many of you. I know Imran has listened to this or watched it, to listen to the Sky Sports interview with Cricket West Indies CEO Johnny Graves. You get some interesting insights in terms of how tour schedules are set up and who has to pay and the TV rights and so on. So there's a lot that needs to be done, especially, and at this time I really think that there's a couple ways you can save yourself here. There needs to be some collective agreements with, I think, uh, le- countries outside the big three. That's for one. But also, if you're a West Indies cricket uh, administrator, if you think about valuing cricket in the region, you got to do your best to start creating a lot more high quality players in en masse. I mean, we may not be able to replicate the 70s and the 80s in terms of the talent coming through, but you have to start getting unearthing some world class talent, because the sooner the team starts to win, the sooner the team starts to do impressive stuff, is when the money starts to flow, the eyes come back, and you can start to negotiate on a lot of things from a position of strength. And that's the thing that you have to think about. What is Imran saying? I wonder how our head coach is going to handle. He has to be coach for West Indies, and interesting. I don't know. I mean, that's also a really interesting type of thing when the white ball series start. Yeah, yeah, that's coming up too. The first thing to be done for West Indies is to be number one in the world. We need it. I mean, selection talent alone, I don't know that will help us get to number one, right? You have to have the cricketers to get to number one. We have to identify them. You got to start looking at this under 19 team as well and say, how many of those can be potential world class players? There may not be any, but you have to look. How many of those that can be good professional cricketers that can have a meaningful career for the West Indies? I'm sure there's at least four of them in there. And then maybe you might get some surprises. So how do you nurture that? How do you do your best to make sure from the time they get from, say, 19 to 21 or 22, they get the necessary development, so when they get to international cricket proper, they don't struggle? That's the question. And if you look at many of the kids that are coming through India or England or other places, the education between under 19 and until they make their way into a test team or ODI team is vast in comparison to what happens for the typical West Indies cricketer. And that we have to solve. That, if you solve, could be a game changer. You don't wake up one morning and get two Malcolm Marshall or Michael Holding, a Brian Lara, Viver. Those players don't come. They're once in a generation, but there may be a few hanging around, but you have to develop them the right way. Thanks everyone for joining me. Hit that smash that like button for me. Click the subscribe button. I really appreciate you joining me as we, watch some cricket, chop it up a little bit. It'll be good to hear from you. I appreciate Imran. Obviously, he's flooding with a lot of comments. If you have thoughts on what's going on, please don't hesitate. Let me know. Oh yeah, I also appreciate Dina Dreamy that commented earlier as well. So yeah. Let me know what other sports you want me to cover. I'll cover them without even if you ask though. There's some other stuff I'll be covering in this weekend hopefully, and leading up into what would be a great year for the Olympics. Yeah. Come July, and let's see where West Indies cricket go. We will go to England with our weakest squad. Yeah. There's a lot of questions later on this year. Yeah. Hopefully, from a T20 standpoint, you hope that they can perform creditably well at the World Cup. It'd be great to win it, but you can only dream. Yeah. So far, not so bad this morning. 274. Sinclair up to 20. Roach 4. Not bad. Ooh, that is such a lovely ball from Josh Hazelwood. Such a lovely ball. End of the over. Oh yeah. So Roach is just like proper drive. I mean, it's so good that it doesn't take the edge. So close to the edge. Whew. And that's the thing about these Aussie bowlers, the likes of a Pat Cummins, obviously Hazelwood, Mitch Stark. They will find it. The variation there is just like a little bit out there. But I think they're looking for that edge. They're certainly looking for the edge. Stark coming into face. Yeah. Not much there for Sinclair to do. Let's see what else you're saying here. When we leave England, we'll have to come home, then fly to Sri Lanka. You're certainly on top of the whole schedule for sure, Imran. It's gonna be a big year for cricket in general. Big year for West Indies as well. And then obviously lots of other cricket kind of came back in. Sinclair, yeah. I'm not sure if the Aussies are worried yet. I think they probably think it's only a matter of time. I think both of these batsmen are in at the crease for what now? Going on half an hour. Not quite, but going on. So just need to try to get some runs, some singles. I suspect. Let's get this run. Let's get the run rate going, and get this past 300. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bouncer there from a short ball rather from Mid Stark. easily handled by Sinclair, who just ducks out of it. Yeah. So Sinclair now up to 20, another couple runs, and he's making more than the top order as well. So I don't know if this is Weston is batting deep, but yeah. I don't know. It's like you have different stories every night, Imran. You wanted Sinclair in the team for the batting or for the bowling? No, he's good though. I mean, there's no question about it. A single, quick single there from the West Indies. Sinclair up to 21, and yeah, I think what the West Indies have to do, and they should be careful, is not to get bogged down. So they need to be moving, try to get some singles. Eventually, you may get a one or two bad balls, and you put them away. But if you can just move the scoreboard, we often don't do that as well as we should. It's not a thing, and it seems like, especially in ODI cricket, they're much better at it now. But they don't. They certainly don't. Ooh, very good ball. Yeah, you wanted him for both. Yeah, I mean, I think he can contribute for in both. So, are you saying? Are you thinking that the emergence of Kevin Sinclair will mean the end of? Is this like a Jamaica bobsled thing they're wearing there? I'm not quite sure what this is. Uh, you think the emergence of a Kevin Sinclair will mean the end for Gudikesh Moti? Yeah. Apparently, someone invaded the pitch earlier. It's a good shot there from Kemar Roach. Just a single, it seems like. End of the over. 276 for 8. He might be the captain for Guyana in the original 4-day tournament. Who? Sinclair or Moti? Yeah. It seems like it's dress up day for the Aussies. They're all in different types of costumes. These guys look like they're monks. Okay. So this is what a new ball. It's been what used for about what 15 overs or so. Ah, so this was one of the protest. What were they protesting on the field? Was it a Free Palestine thing or something of the sort, or something about Israel? What's going on? It's hard to see from this. Yeah, I think if these West Indies guys can see off another four or five overs without losing any wickets, I think that would be decent because we're almost half an hour into the second morning. Yeah. Now that's a question I need answer to. That's a question I need some answers to. Because when they said Australia was unchanged and Green tested positive for COVID, along with what somebody in the coaching staff, I was like, why is he playing? But I guess, well, to be honest with you, there's no protocol for COVID anymore. I don't think. I mean, here in the United States, I don't think anybody even listens to what there's no CDC protocol. I guess some people might just self quarantine or not necessarily do anything, but there's no if like early in the pandemic, if you were positive or something, then you would have to quarantine or maybe different workplaces would have some more stricter schedule responses to when people get ill. But now, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem like so. Maybe they don't care, or maybe they're fine with it. Yeah. And even if he's not like feeling ill or anything like that, that doesn't mean others can't come down with it. But yeah, that's a very good question there. Because when I saw that, I because the build up to this test match was that they were plagued with illness. Yeah. Who knows? Good question. I suspect Sri Lanka will. I mean, I don't. I think the experience there is vast in terms of what they can do. But I mean, Afghanistan has been having a bumper year for cricket in terms of their improvement, tremendous improvement in ODI. I don't know though. Your thoughts on it? I would go with Sri Lanka. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No runs from that. It's like a maiden over Josh Hazelwood. That's the thing that West Indies don't want. You're going for Afghanistan. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool to see, I suppose. Except, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure if they're ready. I mean, it's one thing to be competitive in ODIs, but 5-day cricket is really an interesting type of stuff. But they're good, So and especially what they're going through, you can't really be upset with the kind of progress that they've made. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Smash the like button. I'm sorry, it's been probably like a late night for me, so who knows what I'm saying. I've been up very early this morning and watching cricket now. For us on this side of the hemisphere, oh, that's a good shot. Now, probably pick up what is that? Just a single or two? They're comfortably back for 2 runs. So Sinclair moves on to 23. But back to my point, on this side of the hemisphere, day and night test match is not particularly good for us, especially in parts of the Caribbean. It's what now after midnight and minutes to one in Trinidad. Here, if you're in Eastern Standard Time, it's after 11. So I know for sure, obviously, when you watch a T20 and the ODI, you'll run into similar things, but they could keep the day and night test for me. It's good when the test match starts like 6 o'clock my time or 6:30. You get to see a decent amount of it. You could go to your bed thinking that you watch somewhat. But a good thing, there's good highlight packages available. I'm not quite sure where you're watching the cricket from. I suspect if you're in the States or so, you have to be watching it on Willow. This is how we get cricket. Cricket also comes on ESPN too for us here, but on ESPN Plus rather. But most of the cricket we get is through Willow. I suspect in the Caribbean there might be different things. I know, like what CNC is it CNC 3 in Trinidad? When I was there, I was watching cricket on that recently. Yeah. Oh, he did test negative. Okay, I thought you said he tested positive. Okay. He did, or was he positive? Then he tested negative afterwards. Okay. For you, okay, in Trinidad, okay. Yeah, but I don't complain. Like immediately, there's really great highlight packages, so get on that really quickly. One of the good things is like I can watch back the whole session if I want to, and speed it up and speed it down. Sometimes I don't get the chance to do that, but I think if you're a sports fan, uh, then right about now is the greatest time to watch sports. Yeah. Oh, he flashed at that, but he got 4 runs. A little bit. I'm not quite sure if that's a stroke you want to be making, but picks up 4 runs off of Mitchell Stark. I mean, that could have gone anywhere, anywhere. Thankfully, it didn't get into the hands of Smith or whoever is there. Or but 28 runs now for Kevin Sinclair. Good shot there. Good stop. Marnus couldn't stop it, and so they'll get 2 runs. Decent amount of runs off this over. That's what 4 and 4, 8 and 2, 10 runs off the over. Yeah, that's a misfield by Labashane. Give them a chance to run a couple runs. He probably could have stopped that. There wouldn't be no run. It's unlike Marnus to be doing that. Yeah. Is that what you're seeing? Everyone around the world, West Indies cricket is back. I don't know yet. It's too early to be saying that. Yeah. There are signs that if if they play the right cricket, if they apply themselves, they can be much more competitive than they are. My dad used to say, or I think he says, I'm going to paraphrase him. He never thinks West Indies wins a cricket match until they actually win. So this is how he's been doubting, you know? Yeah. I mean, 10 runs over the over might be a bit excessive, Dean the Dream, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. If it's there to be hit, you have to hit it, right? You know? One of our batsmen need to be open, and the next one need to be closed if you are. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. You mean one should be going on the attack and the next one reserve? Okay. Yeah. Nathan Lyon is back in the attack, so we'll see. He can be a little bit tricky. You know, important that the batsmen use their feet properly, try to be batting, use the bat because the LBW is in play. Yeah, that's a good ball there from Lyon. I'm impressed by what I've seen so far for the morning. So what, 30 something minutes into it, and it's responsible batting from Roach and Kevin Sinclair. 6 runs for Roach off 24 balls. Not anything to write home about, but you have to remember he came in and tried to. He had to reestablish himself. Sinclair had to start over again, and so they're getting into it, and hopefully this means that they can continue and start making some more runs and get this past 300. You know, I'll be happy about that. What else you're saying? Australia did users. Yeah, it's a good defensive shot there from Roach. Yeah, it's good cricket from West Indies. Just don't give away a wicket. See if need some runs though. That's a good over from Nathan Lyon. Maiden to start with, so it's clear that Roach has been in the nets. He's been working on his batting, and let's hope that he can make some runs today. A nice 30 runs for Kemar Roach would be good. I feel like Sinclair needs a present, so 20 more runs and he could get a half century. I'm sure he would be happy with that on debut. Well, the big captain is coming in, Pat Cummins. Whenever you have a problem, you call for Pat Cummins. Yeah. Ah, thanks for the update. I was just about thinking about this. My producer's thinking about what I wanted. England up there in India 156 for 2. So only the one wicket down for the morning. Oof. Immediately 3 years. That's a lot of years left though. How old is Roach now? Is he what, 36? Is he? 37? How old is he? I think Kevin Sinclair has to be more circumspect here. He has to be very careful. Same for Roach. Because Pat Cummins is the ultimate. He'll set you up in a heartbeat. Yeah. So India trailing by 90 runs. Sorry about that. So clearly they're in to make a big score. I was thinking about England cricket setup as well. I think I was listening to something too because I was wondering about the preparation for that test match. I don't think they really played enough cricket before they jetted off to India. You want to get an opportunity to test yourself in the subcontinent on a couple. I mean, I would say like 2 to 3, or at least 2 matches. Gone, dropped it. Oh my gosh, Cam Green drops Sinclair in. You need a little luck. I tell you bring Pat Cummins on, he sets you up. Immediately, the first ball, he's trying to hook it or whatever. And now he finds the edge. I mean, he should have caught this. That should have been comfortable catch there for Cam Green. No, that's regulation catching there. Maybe it's the COVID. He went in the hands. He has fairly good hands. Yeah, 37. I don't see how is he gonna have 3 more years in Test cricket. I think this has to be his last tour of Australia, and I suspect he could play. I think after this year, maybe Kemar has to call it. I mean, I'm not putting him in retirement, but also you have to say to yourself, what is happening with the development of other fast bowlers if they can't come on the scene and force him out, right? By right, he should play as long as he can continue to take wickets and make the team. But at some point, players start to retire because they realize that others are behind them and they need their chance as well. He's had a long career. He's moved up, way up on the all-time list. So clearly, he's been a good servant to West Indies cricket. It's kind of like a scrambling there of the seam, it looks like. A little bit of wobble, more like a wobble, yeah. Yeah, well, Kevin Sinclair must have breathed a sigh of relief that Cameron Green dropped him. Smash that like button. Thanks everybody for joining me. Let me know if you're watching the cricket. Where are you watching it from? I know Imram is watching it from from good old Trinidad and Tobago, which I really like Trinidad and Tobago. I come there every year. I think I've been coming to Trinidad every year since what, like '07. Yeah. Where's the best doubles for you, Imran? I think last time I was in Trinidad over December. I think I had cow heel soup for about 3 or 4 nights in a row on the avenue. I got it, which was an interesting place. I was just going to the avenue to get it. Yeah. Saint Augustine. That's where the best doubles is. That's where UE campus is, right? Like I know where that is. I've driven past there. I've been to most places in Trinidad, not everywhere, but Toco. I went Point 14 this time for the first time. Yeah. Yeah. Good batting there. I gotta do a quick plug in here. I didn't realize my laptop wasn't plugged in. So all right. So Lion back in the attack. 30 runs for Sinclair. He's on strike. 7 for Roach. Run rate 2.88. Not sure I'm worried about that at the moment. They got to find a way to score, I would say, though. If they could get a little turnover, running between the wickets, pick up a couple here and there, frustrate them, that would be good to see. Ooh, not a single there. Yeah, hopefully he can do that. I think that would be good. I mean, I like how they're batting. You think about these guys are, at the tail and they're applying themselves, fighting for the West Indies, and you wonder about the top order. Ooh, almost out. Ooh, got the edge on that from Roach, from Sinclair rather, or Roach. Was it Roach? Yeah, yeah. Oh no, actually, it it bounced before it got to the slips, hit the ground, but it was a good size edge. So this is what two edge. In the previous over by Pat Cummings took the edge. Cam Green didn't take the catch. This one it dropped short of the slip because there's only one slip there. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a problem. I really feel bad about that. That's something that they have to fix. I saw there might be some responses from the government in terms of initial um in terms of like you know beefing up security, but crime is much more than just policing efforts or security efforts. You have to think about the underlying causes of this and try to fix that as well. But it's a sad situation. I've been noticing it. I mean, obviously, when I come, I watch the news there, and I realize since I've been coming more and more, it's increasingly getting worse, and per capita, it's not good. And I do hope they can nip it in the bud because once it gets out of control, it's very difficult sometimes to get back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Reach. Come on, D the Gene is like fine. Chin and Ian because hilarious. Look, the Prime Minister fired one of the best police. Okay, interesting. Oh, Gary Gifford. I know Gary Gifford. I don't know much. I mean, I don't. Obviously, I'm not Trinidadian, but I come there and sometimes my wife is Trinidadian, so I listen to some stuff. But yeah, it's tough. I do follow, like, I read the newspapers and so on. But yeah, 288. This is good. 12 runs away from 300. Yeah, you got to make these Aussies work. You know, they make you work. The Aussies don't like to work anymore. You know, everything comes easy for them. You know, bowling out teams in a couple of days or a day. You know, it's been a wonderful summer for them in terms of their cricket. I think after the West Indies tour is over, what they have two. They have two test matches again with uh, New Zealand, right? Yeah. Yeah. You can imagine if the top order each had given you another 25 runs each or something like that. West Indies would be looking at getting past 400. Let's see what else. I mean, I don't know. It could be. I mean, she's a wonderful cricketer. She's Barbadian, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I saw also there's a host of players that was part of that winning World Cup team for women, West Indies women, also retiring and so on. Yeah, no, I think she. I don't see any reason why. You watch more of this than I do, but I try to catch it from time to time. So we'll see. My producer give me an update. England update. India 159 for two, trailing by 87 runs at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I meant I didn't mean or see. I meant Australia. I think Australia has I think two test matches, right? With New Zealand. I could be wrong. They have to close out their summer. Yeah. These guys need to learn how to hold their wickets and let certain balls go. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, test cricket, you got to be really concentrating all the time. That's why I always say it's a test of character. It's a test of everything because no one is giving you anything for free. Yeah. Oh, New Zealand's facing South Africa. So when is Australia playing New Zealand? I thought they were on the cards to finish the Australian summer, but I could have been wrong. I guess I'm wrong. Yeah. Let's see. Very nice shot there. A couple runs for Sinclair. Weston is 291 so far. Creeping up to that magical 300 mark. Let's hope they make it. Let's hope they make it. Nathan Lyon has been bowling pretty decent though. Ah, it's in February, right? Yeah. Okay, so they're going to New Zealand. Yeah. Okay. I often joke that when I retire, I just want to go and watch cricket everywhere. 4 runs, very good sweep shot from Sinclair. 29-run partnership right now. 295 for 8. This is very good batting from Kevin Sinclair. Clean sweep. Yeah, right through the gap. It's good stuff. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's gonna be interesting. Do we play India just before the World Cup? Is it? Is it India? I need to look at the schedule. I can't remember everything off the top of my head. I need to have my cheat sheets around or so. Run rate just under 3 runs, but who really cares? These guys need to just bat out. When you have these tail enders sticking it out, there's not much I can complain about. Yeah, how about test debut, 38 runs so far? Yeah, Kevin Sinclair, let's get him a half century here. Yeah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, South Africa, thanks. Yeah. Oh, for sure, and thanks for joining me, and thanks for that comment. Weston's batted better than I thought they would. Yeah, I think I agree 100%. Look, to even be in this position after that top order collapse, that run through by Mitch Stark yesterday, clearly uh, the resilience shown by Hodge, obviously, and Joshua De Silva, and De Silva in particular playing that leadership role, been around for a while, gave away his wicket in the first test match quite easily. That was something. So it kind of showed that kind of fight, right? So yeah, I agree with you. And then Alzari did bat really well, turned it over quickly. Unfortunate to lose his wicket. But so far, this partnership here with Sinclair and Kemar Roach is bearing good fruit. And if for nothing, they're at least frustrating the Australia. Ooh, he's flashing at that one. I don't like that. It's definitely frustrating them. And they clearly came out with a plan. 4 runs off 300. It seems like, as I was saying earlier, and I don't know your thoughts on it. The wicket seems as if, like, once the shine goes off the new ball, if you concentrate well, you can make some runs on this pitch. I mean, usually that's the whole thing with the Gabba anyway. So it gives you good stuff, if you apply yourself. Yeah. At this stage, these guys should be thinking about batting until the tea break, right? Or whatever they call it. Is it? Yeah, they call it. In day and night, they go to tea first, then what? Like dinner or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Certainly good stuff. Yeah. What do you think? I think the Western is better than they think. Belief is in self is a. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I mean, there's also limitations to that too. I would imagine, in a sense. So the one thing I have always said, and I take your take on this too, and anybody who follows West Indies cricket, is that for whatever downward spiral that we've suffered from, there is always moments where you see a lot of talented cricketers continue to be developed, especially on the 19 level. It's just what you do with them afterwards in terms of preparing them to meet the demands of international cricket. And also, can you keep them together, right? Oftentimes, players aren't kept together and they go off and they do other formats because part of this is certainly trying to make a livelihood for themselves, and then obviously the big three stuff and everything else we've talked about. And so I think if these guys fight hard and know that they can do it, as you say, they can certainly don't. be competitive, right? Nobody in their right mind expect West Indies cricket or any team, for that matter of fact, to go to Australia and win. Not England, not India. It doesn't really happen. But but you want to see competitive cricket, and if you come here and you fight and you play hard and you learn from that, then you continue to apply yourself, then you will go up, you'll move up, and then maybe as you unearth some talent, you will get a generational player, right? We haven't had a generational player for a very long time, right? You may wake up the next morning and you see a reincarnation of a Brian Lara or Viv Richards. You know, you wake up, you get a Michael Holding or a Walsh or Ambrose, or heaven forbid you get Malcolm Marshall coming back. But whatever, right? You get a version of those, you mix them together, and you start to do things. People like to take the Mickey out of West Indies cricket and so on, and I just sometimes maybe those guys need to see that, because it's a rich history they come from, right? They're riding on the three W's, they're riding on George Headley, Garfield Sobers, Wes Hall, these guys, you name them. It's not a joke thing. I always say it. Sometimes I teach this stuff sometimes in interesting ways, which to American students who never understand cricket. But you think about the cultural implication of what type of sport cricket is, and who invented the game, who brought it to the Caribbean, who forced us to play it in particular ways, and then we turn that upside down and beat them with it. And it's something that we still can do. It's just that with all the adversity, and when we were winning, it's not like it was an easy road to, in terms of finances or anything like that. Heck, Mikey Olin almost quit cricket because there was no money in it. So yeah, I agree with you here, Mind, because if they have that strength to fight, then there's no way that they can do well. So there's a drinks break. 38 runs for Sinclair, 8 runs for Roach, and the West Indies are batting pretty well. Let me get to some of your comments. Thanks everybody for joining me. Let's see what's going on here. What Imran is saying. Yeah, thanks. Imran was saying it's do or die against England. Yeah, in the under 19, they have to win. We'll see. By the time I get up, hopefully we'll see what happens there. If the boys could steer down a top order collapse like this, what we suffered on day one, and end up getting close to 300, says to me that we're not bad as. No, you're true. That's true. That's a good point. Also that's also illustrative of saying that, like, when you think about the top order, if they could apply themselves somewhat better, then maybe you, instead of looking at 300 runs, we're looking at 4, right? If at least 2 of those guys could. I'm not saying all the time the top order has to bat really well, but if a couple of them, like when I look at a guy like Kurt McKenzie, I was like, that kid can be a superstar. And he hasn't played a lot of cricket yet, but you think about what he did in the first match there, getting to 50 runs in the first innings in Adelaide, and then clearly a brain fart, and he loses that concentration and he gives it away. And I think it's the same yesterday. Like, he starts off, he's turning the score over, so he comes in after Brathwaite is out, and he's ticking over the runs, and he's putting pressure back on the Aussies, and then he gives it away. And he slashes twice at Pat Cummins, who sets him up, right? Like, obviously, he learned from this. I would imagine he's 23 years old. He hasn't played a lot of first-class cricket. This is like his 3rd test match or something like that. But I hope he learns this thing, because he can turn the runs over, and he could do something special, and it's a place for him if he applies himself. Yeah, I agree. The last glorious year we had was 2016, when our teams. Yeah, it's been a while, right? It's been a while. And then you think about that, there's always player stress. I saw a press release today with the some agreement with West Indies Cricket Board and the Players Union, so Players Association. So, and then there are issues about gender equity for pay. So, hopefully, there's forward movement there, and people will be fine. Yeah, and you'll get players wanting to play for the team and sticking out and maybe winning stuff. You know, because I think there's a group of people coming through that if you get them right, all of them healthy, fit and healthy, playing good cricket, I mean, they could do some good damage. They could definitely do some damage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very close to that 300 run target. They always say it's a psychological thing in in cricket, but to get to 300 after the early collapse, I think we're having bonus stuff here. Best way to support the channel is to subscribe, like. I cover a lot of different sports, obviously, so it's not always cricket. But I appreciate you on the channel. Appreciate people watching from wherever you are, people enjoying the cricket. At some point, the downside of watching the cricket on this side of the hemisphere is that in a day and night test match, it's now after midnight my time, and I may still have to go to bed. Yeah, yeah. I want to stick around to see how far West Indies can go with the runs. You're looking at Pat Cummins' face here, and he's perplexed probably. He's like, these guys are still here? Because you have to think that when they had West Indies 60 something for whatever, they're like, this is over. They're ready to put their feet up. You have to think that's what they were thinking. It's probably a run here. Yeah. 39 runs for Sinclair, 8 for Roach, 3 runs to 50. 3 runs rather to 300, sorry. Yeah, they just need to bat as long as they can. I also wonder if these guys are playing with their freedom, Maybe not, because there's some level of pressure too to do well for themselves, to do well for the team, to actually make up for the runs that the top order didn't make. But 31 run partnership off 8 balls, hey, of 89 balls. This is valiant effort from these two guys. Got one guy on debut fighting, showing, definitely showing that he needs to be in the team. Yeah, at this rate, we're bringing him for bowling, but he's clearly batting well. It's like an all-rounder status right here. There's a spicy ball there from Pat Cummins, but easy for Roach to get out of the way, though. Yeah. And like thinking about Shamar Joseph too, his knock in the first Test match also shows that he can swing the bat somewhat, right? Ooh. Oh my God. Run out. Mix up. This is problematic. They just gave away the wicket to Australia. That was bad. I don't know what that was, to be honest with you, Imran. I mean, this is like gifting. Yeah, Dean the Dream. It is disappointing. It's like they gifted the wicket. Oh, and then he tried to stop. He fell. Oh. I mean, that was really a gift to the Aussies. Really a gift. Because truthfully, you never got the impression that they were going to take any wickets. It just looked that way. It looked like West Indies were batting the way they wanted, and then you have a mix up here. It's really poor mix up. Communication issue, it seems like. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, what happened there? Like, almost like you're forcing something that doesn't need to be forced here. This is good. Put put really gifting Australia something that they don't earn. This is an unforced error, to use a tennis analogy. Huh. Nice. Off this two should get 2 runs here. No, oh my God. Oh, phew. Yeah, these guys are like they need to calm down. They need a little meeting in the middle. Calm down. There's runs to be had. Don't give it away. Yeah. Uh, they pro- yeah, it's tough. This is tough. Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll calm down. I think Sinclair realizes. I don't know what he's realizing. I should take that back. Joseph is in, Sinclair's there. Let's see if they can make some runs. Let's try for another partnership. Try for another partnership. Still 2 runs shy of 300. Nah, this is. I don't really like what I'm seeing here. They're nervous out there. Yeah. You think about that, like where the mix-up came from. Like how, as you said, like how do you get run out when there's absolutely no pressure? It's not like they were scoring. They're scoring slowly, obviously, but it didn't seem as if the Aussies had anything in this. Yeah. And you put pressure on your own self. Yeah, they just need to calm down and forget about that and just move on. There's 30 runs here to be had for Joseph for sure. If he can get to 30 runs, then it's almost certain that Sinclair will pass half, get a half century. So that's how I would be thinking. I'd be like, let's try to get 10 runs, another 10, do this in tens. Back till the drinks break, till the tea break. Because there's nothing in this pitch. Because if you don't make runs, I think when Australia gets into this, if we're not careful, they'll pile up a lot of runs. You got to be really. If you're sitting there in the dressing room, you got to be thinking about strategies to get batsmen out when you get your chance. Got to use the new ball wisely, clearly, and then what do you do to limit runs once the new ball is no longer new? You think you mean in the under 19 cricket, or you mean today in the Test cricket? What's the score in the England match, by the way? Let's see. So India is 179 for three. Uh, K Rahul would uh is bad. I think so. Who got out? Shubman Gill is out. Shikras Iya and K Rahul are batting 42 for Rahul. Yeah. I mean, this but England side, India team bats deep as well, but it's interesting. They thought what England got that 246 was still par score. At one point, I thought they would win, they would surpass us quite easily. It's not. They're still a bit, about 67 runs short of the target. They should be fine as long as they don't lose a lot of wickets. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, equal pay. No, I saw that. That was really good. And I saw Wavell Hines. There's a good media thing about it. Yeah. It would be good if we can get past it. No, certainly. I think that 300 mark is definitely a mark for. It's like a symbol, right? Like you did something decent. Uh, get past that. I certainly think that. I mean, from what we saw in the last Test match, Joseph can swing his bat. Yeah, put some pressure on these guys, and by continuing to bat well. Mm. Still 2 runs short of the 300 mark. Sinclair, 1 run from 40. That would be cool, like you make your debut, 4 runs, yeah. Yeah, that's probably possible. Joseph can develop into a bowling all rounder. He's not bad with the bat. Hope he gets some runs in this innings. I agree. Yeah, he looked good. I mean, certainly looked good. Certainly looked really good with the ball as well. I like the kid, very aggressive. Single right there. 299. 40 runs for Sinclair. That's good batting. Really good batting from Sinclair. I'm not quite sure how many people would have thought that he would have gotten that amount of runs. That's Dean the Dream saying, if these guys can get up to 350, I'll be satisfied. I mean, I'll be more than satisfied. I think that would be something to be jumping around for. Like 350 is a lot of runs to expect here. But, we'll see. Ooh. Well, 300 mark. It's very good for West Indies. 300 runs. Certainly an accomplishment here. They haven't gotten that for a while. It's more like an evasive action there. I'm not quite sure what type of what Joseph was doing there. If they get to 301, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, they're 300, so one more and you'll be satisfied. Ooh, I don't like that. I really don't like that, Kevin. You know, don't forget that you're playing Test match cricket. A little rush of blood there, thinking that he could probably hit one or two. They're showing visiting teams a day and night Test match there, and West Indies are actually batting well. I mean, a couple more runs, it seems like they could get ahead of whatever total Pakistan did recently. I didn't really see. It was on the screen, but probably I wasn't there long enough to look. Uh, so not bad there. Take over some runs. Look, if you're the Western these two pairs, you want to bat as long as you can because that means that's less time for you in the field. Really good. Thanks, Tanya, for saying. Let's see there. I'm missing something. 350 would be good. I mean, certainly that would be good. I mean, I don't know if we're capable of getting up to that, but we'll see. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. Uh, England update 180. What? That can't be right. Didn't they lose like another wicket? Yeah, it's 180. It's like 181 for three, right? You mean for three? Yeah. See what you're saying. Frustrating the Aussies can't give us. That's 6 runs right there. No, not six. Just dropping short. So that's 4 runs. That's some good batting there. Sinclair, 44 runs. Has to think half century on his mind. Has to. Pretty close. That's a very good shot. Right back over the bowler in a sense. Well, not quite right back over, but close. Yeah. 6 runs. Half century for the big man. That's really good. I have to clap for that. Very good. Hearty congratulations on debut. Good to see Jimmy Adams out there clapping as well. That's excellent batting. That's application. Comes into the team. Struggling. Is there last night. Comes in. Continues. That's good stuff. Very good stuff there. Gone. Gone. Whew. Ah. It's a great innings. Unfortunate that he couldn't stick around much longer. Yeah. But that's a great knock, yeah. Yeah, all out. Yeah. I mean, that ball could have fell out of Alex Carey's hand there, but he got it back. Yeah, it's all out. Tough for the West Indies, but 311 runs. That's some good batting, I would say. He's probably very upset. But 50 runs on debut. Exactly. We gave away some easy wickets to the Aussies for sure. Definitely in top order. A while ago, Roach and Sinclair mix up. But kudos to the West Indies for getting this far. Again, all of this started, the rebuild started with Hodge and Joshua De Silva. And it's good to see. Now it's time for some bowling action there. Yeah. I mean, it's been turning out good. I mean, Joseph on debut, Pfeiffer, Sinclair on debut, 50 runs. I mean, he'll tell his grandkids this. Hopefully, he can do something with the ball when he gets an opportunity to, and make it a very special time. Yeah, but Weston is all out, and it's good so far. First of all, I want to again thank everybody for joining me as well. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button. That's the most important way to support me on this channel. Hit that like, and we will certainly be here again. I will also cover a lot of sports. Unfortunately for me, it's after midnight and I do have to get up. Fortunately, I don't have a meetings until midday-ish, or late morning, but I will see you guys another time. I can't stick around too long, but I'll be back. And so keep supporting the channel, watch other videos, check out my stuff. Yeah. I'll just leave with a few comments here. Not the worst first inning score, really. If we bowl well, it could be competitive at least, even if we lose. And that's a very good point to end on, I really think, because sometimes you can't win, but it's the way you lose. And if you show fight, you show progress. If you can push a test match into day 5 against Australia on their home soil, I definitely think it's you know I definitely think it's something to be proud of, right? And then you use that and build on. So thanks everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back again, and I'll see you next time. Let's hope that we can take some early wickets.